Hello, Spectacular Inspectors. Today we're going to talk about building a library for you and your team. A library is a complete set of sections, categories, comments, customers, severity levels, settings that apply to a specific inspection type. Like on my screen here, we have two libraries, a home inspection library and a termite library. Other systems may call this a template, but we have another concept that's part of a library called a template that we'll get into later. In fact, if you're coming from another system, we can take that template or backup or whatever they have and convert that into a spectacular library where you can use your familiar comments with the newer app. So I'm on the Spectacular website here and we're going to build a library today. You can technically build a library from the app as well, Windows, Mac, iPhone, iPad, Android. But with the mouse and keyboard on the website, it just makes it easier. So I'm going to sign out here and sign back in so you can see how we get here. So when I sign in from the website, you go straight to your name in the upper right and then team admin. We'll get to library where we build the library, but we're going to administer it in team admin, create a new one in team admin. So team admin, libraries, and that's where we were. So we're going to add a library. Right now it's only one option, get spectacular library. And we're going to create a blank library. So we can start from the base home inspection library. If you're in Texas, you'll be familiar with the Texas Trek 7.6 right now format, and we have other termite libraries. But for now, for today's demonstration, we're going to use a blank library. Okay. And we're going to build a septic library. Okay. So you basically want a library for each inspection type that you service, right? So this inspector here, he has a septic license, so he's doing septic inspections, home inspections, and termite inspections. You don't want a whole bunch of duplicates of libraries neither, else you'll get confused. And make sure you name them accordingly. You don't want to see library 1, library 2, library 3. I mean, you'll get confused on, what is what. You want to give it a name that fits the inspection type. Or if you're only doing home inspection, you can leave it at home inspection, or some teams just name it their business. As I mentioned before, a library is a complete set of sections, categories, and comments. So one library does not relate to the other. So if you have duplicates and you change something in one library, you'll have to change it in another library, and you don't really want that. So for like inspection types that are very similar to the library, for example, we have a home inspection library here. You won't make a condo library or a multifamily library because it's very similar to home inspection. And we'll get into that when we talk about templates, a subset of a library. Therefore, because if you change something in one, you'll have to change it in the other. You just want to change, if you need to modify a comment, you want to modify it in one library only. So let's start building our septic library. Okay, so we'll click edit here. And when we go there, it'll take us to the library screen, which is this one here. So if I go back and instead go to library, I'm at home inspection, and then I can switch which library I want to modify here. But if I'm over here and I click edit, it'll take me to the septic library. And if I click edit here, it'll take me back to the list where I can add new ones or change the name. And also note that I can sort them here. So whatever order that they appear here is how I'll see them on the library drop down screen here. Okay, if you give it a specific order. So we have these 8 components of a library, and right now we're in comments, and comments are broken up in at least 3 different levels. So we have sections, items, which are categories, and the comments themselves, which are conditions. So we're going to add a section. We're going to just call it general information. A category of general information could be property information. Another one could be disclaimers. I guess another one could be definitions. And then we can also sort these into place here just by dragging and dropping them. So right now we have 3 items of the general information section. Items are categories. If we want to further categorize the categories, we can add an item header here and group these or however many items into that header. Headers are optional and don't appear on the report. To see what they look like, we'll go to home inspection, library, and then select air conditioning, and like these. For air conditioning, electrical is a header, equipment is a header, and these are a part of this header. Okay. So we'll go back to the septic library that we're building, and property information category item. So we'll add a condition, a comment, if you will, that goes under property information that will appear in the report. So let's say square footage. And we'll make this a fill-in. So we come down here to the notes, and then we have a token, and we'll make it a fill-in. So whenever you select this comment, it'll automatically ask you to fill in the square footage. And then save. In fact, we can do a little better. So instead of a basic fill in, let's make it a fill number, so that whenever this comment pops up, it'll pull up the number keyboard instead of the letter keyboard, because the square footage is a number. So that only matters on mobile. Yeah, because on mobile, it's the on-screen keyboard. It'll it'll pull up the number keyboard for fill number, and then the letter keyboard for fill here. And we can also color the label here to differentiate it a little bit. You know, we can bold, italicize, underline, color, and then if we want to make it a hyperlink to go to a website, we can do that. But for now, we're going to just make this a little gray so that it'll look good on the report. So this is the comment that actually shows up on the report. When we select this comment, that's where we'll be able to fill in the actual square footage. And this is the comment name here. This does not appear on the report, but the comment does. Don't mind the HTML here. Let's see if we select it again, it'll probably, yeah, correct, okay. So the item category appears, the section name appears, obviously, but the comment name is just a name for the actual comment that appears on the report. So we'll add a couple of more sections here. We'll say tanks, and we'll say pipes. And we can also copy other sections, categories, and comments from other libraries. So I know this library will need a conclusion, and I have a conclusion in home inspection. So what I'll do is I'm gonna copy, right click on conclusion, and copy the conclusion from home inspection to our septic library. And when we go back to septic, it's there. Okay, so everything that was in the home inspection conclusion is now in here for use. But remember, libraries are completely separate, so we just copied them over. So if I change something in this conclusion, septic, that won't affect the home inspection conclusion. So let's see if there's anything else we want to copy over from the home inspection library. let's go back to home inspection. Let's do a search for septic. Okay, so we have comments in plumbing, exterior, and kitchen, let's say, septic. We can search the whole library of home inspection, or we could search the selected section that that we want to look for. So section, septic, and just plumbing shows up. So we're gonna go there and copy, right click, same principle, copy the category private disposal into our septic library. We'll put it in general information for now. Okay, and so when we go back to septic, it's there. So you can copy whole sections, whole categories, or individual comments as well. So again, each section should have at least 3 levels: the section itself, the categories within that section, and the comments within each category. So we did some in general information. Obviously, tanks hasn't been filled out yet, nor have pipes, and conclusion has 1 category. Getting into the other tabs, we go into agreements. If we want to have a separate septic agreement, we can add it here. There's another agreements video that shows you how to do that. Severity levels are little tokens that appear before each comment that signifies the importance of that comment as the reader reads the report. There's more information in the manual about those. So for example, clicking on danger, DNGR, it'll have a DNGR in this red signifier here, dangerous condition that should be corrected as soon as possible. We can associate severity levels to comments. It's optional by going back to the comment and then right clicking on a comment and then choosing severity level. So we can make this comment, danger, warning, or any combination of them. Global comments, as opposed to comments, are comments that can be used anywhere, right? So we have 3 examples that come with the library. Licensed contractor. We recommend the advice service of a licensed general contractor. We can throw this on the end of any comment in the library on the fly. That's done with the yellow notes button, and so here they are here, global comments. The three are there, and we can add more, unlimited amount of global comments. Just things that you would typically just put at the end of a comment that you can use anywhere. Pick lists are like the fill-ins we talked about, but instead of the keyboard popping up allowing you to type in whatever, a list of items pops up. So like we chose to put in a pick list for number, location, or direction. It'll be a multiple choice list of things to select when adding a comment. So when we have a comment here, general comment, so so like we add a condition, rooms, we'll say notes, pick list, number, a comma separated number. We can do that as well. So whenever this comment is selected, a list of numbers pops up to choose from. Okay, so number 510. It's not a good example, but hope you get it. Positions are a component of the locations that we use to multiply certain sections in a report. So for our septic example, we would have things like left, right, north, and south sides. So when we're describing where things are, we would typically make it a location. And if there's multiple, we can differentiate them. So if there's, say, 2 tanks, we would say left tank, right tank, if you will, for this example. There's another video on the channel that describes locations in detail. We could put east and west as a position as well on here too. Templates allow you to apply a bunch of comments at once by a tap of a button, right? So if you know a certain job will have certain comments in it, you could just apply that template. So that's what I was talking about earlier when we were discussing home inspection. This one doesn't have any templates. So like this is where you would add a condo, right? So we have certain comments in the library that that apply to a condo, right? And that's the ones you would put in this report, in this condo report. So you would fill in all the comments that apply to condo, and so when you get a condo, you just tap on this template, and all the comments that you applied that you set for condo will apply to that job. And so you can have an unlimited number of templates if you add them in. And settings apply to the selected library that you're on. So the home inspection settings will have different settings than the septic, right? So for septic, maybe we want to show pictures in the summary. Maybe we won't. So like things will modify title page. Instead of it saying confidential inspection report, we want it to say septic inspection report, okay, on the title page, right? But the home inspection one will say something different, okay? Going back over to the comments tab, let's fill out tanks a little bit more. So when we select tanks, we can add in a header note. So this is like and likewise for pipes, right? And so for like pipes, we'll say material, right? And so we can add more. We can add a list of materials, or we can do a pick list of materials. That's another one, good one. Pipe materials, and then we'll say in one of the lists, copper and plastic, right? We can fill out the list however many we want, and so over here we can add the pick list. Clear this out and put pick list pipe materials, right? So whenever we select this, we'll get the pipe materials, okay? All right, so let's see this library in use. Let's download it to say an iPad and use it. So over on the mobile device, we have our library button here in the lower left. Right now, our current library says home inspection, but we need to get our new septic library. So the way we do that is we go to inspector info. We're already signed in, and so we press the send receive button on the right of the password, get library from server, and we have our septic library here. So we'll do that, download that, successfully downloaded and switch to the septic library. Okay, so now when we go here, our current library is now the septic library. Okay, so when we press start, we don't have any customers yet for the septic library, so we'll press new customer here, or we can press new customer here, same thing. And we can fill out the address information later, but we're just trying to demonstrate the library. So we have our 4 sections that we created. When we press general information, we have the 4 items within general information. Tanks, we didn't put anything in there. Pipes, we have our material, and conclusion, our comments. from there, just like we set up. So let's go back to pipes and then material. So here's what I was talking about the pick list. Whenever we apply the materials, the pick list automatically opens up so that we can choose an item or items on the list. So if we choose two items, it'll say plastic and copper, or I can press undo, it'll pop it back up, just copper. So there's a couple of ways you can set up this comment for the comments for materials. You can have them, each material a line item, a condition here, or you can set it up as a pick list, whichever style you like better. You can set it up as. All right, so applying a regular comment, it doesn't pop up. Only when you see this little pencil icon, it's going to automatically pop up when you select it, like when we did the square footage, right? So square footage, so we'll put in 2,000 square feet. All right, and this is just another pick list. So for rooms number, it's not a very good example, but 5. Okay. So that's basically it. Once the lead is finished building the library on the website, you would they will give it to their inspectors, who would all come and get library from server and download it in. All right, hope this library tutorial was informational, and if you have any questions, you can contact us, email us at info@spectacularapp.com. Thanks.